Lisbeth Calandrino. I'm so excited to be able to present to you some information from the hiring seminar. These are the best practices that across the board, whether you're in the floor covering industry or not. Anyway, we've also got some questions up here that I will relate to as we go along. I think there's a couple of things here that we should look at, first of all, which is one is the talent acquisition. It says it costs like $4,400 to bring in a new person or to lose one. So that's we're looking at the turnover. And you know what? I think it's more than that. Think about it this way. You bring in a new person. Let's say they don't get along with people. And so now you've got them working with customers and they turn customers off, or they're working with your old customers, the tried and true that just come in to say hello and they're not happy. So now maybe you're losing them. You're taking somebody off the floor to work with them to make sure they get it right, or you're sending them out on installation and that takes time. Anyway, so the average cost of a hire, I think, is more than $4,000. Now, what about turnover? So you have an employee, and guess what? You lose them, 1/3 of their annual salary. You see, it's expensive to make a mistake when you're hiring. So I've got some things for you today. I know she's got 10 tips. It's over there. 10 tips for hiring. I've got more than that for you. Okay, so one, the most important thing is we don't spend enough time determining what the job is. In other words, we don't define it. So if we may say something like, we want them to be good with customers, but that's a fantasy. What does it mean to be good with customers? How do you behaviorally explain it? In other words, maybe being good with customers is one, smiling, approaching them within the first 10 seconds, saying please and thank you. You've got to define it so that it makes sense and somebody can do it. So we have to define what that job is. And once you really define it, then you won't make a mistake when you hire. All right. We ask the wrong questions when we hire. We start talking to somebody and we build rapport and we seem to really like each other. So we forget the real questions. Real questions like, why do you want to be in the flooring business? How did you even find us? What do you think about my business? These are questions you want to ask because we want to know whether or not that the person we're interviewing is inquisitive. Do they care about my business? Because if they're not inquisitive when they're getting a job, you can be rest assured they're not going to be inquisitive afterward. Okay. We hire people that are like ourselves. It's easy because we click. It's all good. We click. I had a call from somebody and she said to me, she called me and said, I really need some help in hiring. And she said, but you know what? I met a woman yesterday and we just hit it off. It is terrific. It's going to be really good. She called me 3 months later. The woman stole from her. And she said, I can't believe I did that. I said, well, of course you did that. The woman knew how to build rapport, which is a terrific skill, right? She got you to trust her. That's another great skill. The thing is, you were too much involved with her. You wanted so much to connect with her that you never looked at what it'd be like if you didn't connect. So when we have those kind of issues, like when you meet somebody and it really works, what I always suggest is bring in somebody else that's not like you to be part of the interview, or do a group interview, or do both. All right. We're desperate. It's like going to the grocery store without a list. And the times you go there and you go, you know what? I just need a piece of candy. If I have a piece of candy, I'll feel a whole lot better. And we know we shouldn't have a piece of candy. And so there we are. Or everything looks really good. Next thing we know, we can't even fit it in our freezer. That's what happens to me. So the key is to always be looking. While you're out there, always be looking for somebody. Again, we haven't defined the job properly. What does the job entail? And then how do you test the person that you're interviewing? What do we say to them to see whether or not they get it? So you could say something like, suppose a customer comes in that says they know the owner and the owner isn't there. How are you going to work with them? Let's see what they come up with. Do they say, well, I'd have to tell them the owner's not there and they have to come back? Wrong answer. Or do they say, I am sure that the owner would want me to make sure I treat you the way you want to be treated. And so let me help you and I'll be sure and let them know you were here. That's pretty creative. And that's probably what they should do. We don't have realistic requirements for the job. I can remember being in business a long time ago. And when it comes to the job requirement, if we ask an employee to do most anything, they really do need to do it. But then we look at, is that really realistic? I need you to come in on Saturday. Yeah, I know it was your day off, but I need you to come in. Or this week, I need you to come in on Friday. One of the things that people hate about working in the box stores, it's that's what they do. My friends that work in the box stores are always saying to me, what's really terrible around here? The job isn't bad. And we've got lots of great customers. The thing is that I never know from week to week my hours. How can you plan a life? You got to make it possible so that people can have a life. We don't like hiring. And so we pretend it's not really important. We say, that's okay. I'll get anybody. I'll bring them in and Charlie can spend time with them or Mary can spend time with them. And that's how we look at hiring. If you go back to that, the thing that I had in the beginning, the acquisition over $4,400. And if they come and they leave, it's a third of their annual salary. So this is really an important thing. Listen, if you don't want to hire, how about having somebody who works for you that really does like to hire and can ask the right questions and can do what you need them to do? Why not have them do it? Actually, I think one way to do it is to have a group hiring. I think it's really important for everybody to meet the person, see what they think. Now, before you do this, you can sit down and you can figure out what kind of questions do we want to ask them. I mean, this is good. This is good stuff. Let everybody see if that person fits, right? Everyone you hire should be a marketer, all right? Now, why is that? Up here it says, why should I care if who I hire is on social media? This is what I find out with small businesses. Let's say you have 5 employees. And if you were to look at their social media, let's say you've got one of them that's got 4,000 friends. Now, on your Facebook page, how can you fill it up? You can't fill it up unless somebody invites people that has friends. You know that. So if you've got people, I've been on pages where they have 300 friends and they've been in business for 10 years. And I go, what? Where are all the people that love them? But if you've got great people that work for you and they have good social media, they have good following, they can invite their friends. So you should have a whole bunch of people on there. That's why you need to hire people who understand how to bring in customers. And this will bring in customers. That's why you need marketers. Okay, next. Attitude is more important than anything. Look, you can teach product knowledge. And I know a lot of people say, well, I just want to hire somebody who has experience. And I'm thinking to myself, it's because you're lazy. That's why you want to do this. You don't want to talk to them. You just want them to get out on the floor and you want them to do business. And you think that if they come with experience, they can do business. I've seen a lot of people who get hired that have experience that have no business being on the floor. Nobody said they had good experience. They just said they had experience. So remember, if you bring them in and they have experience and they ask about your business and they are inquisitive, are they on time? Are they friendly? These are the kind of people you want. You can always teach them. I had a gentleman who I coached who owned a flooring business, and we got him a student to work. It was a student intern. It didn't cost him any money. We brought in the intern. He was actually looking for somebody to hire. So we brought in an intern and we had the intern develop a training program for us. What better yet than having the intern do it? Because the intern said, this is what I've learned. This is how we did it. He would have been a perfect candidate to work in the store, and he loved it there. The thing was, he was a senior in college. He was getting ready to transfer, and he decided to go from business to become an engineer. Too bad. But you know what? He would have definitely been a good candidate for the job. The other thing you want to find is, are they involved in their community? Again, it's the same thing. It's the social part. We want people who like people in their community, are involved in their community, understand the whole social media. They've got Instagram, they're doing reels, they're doing TikTok. We want them because that connects and that brings in people. You may not be into a lot of that, but you know what? You're going to have to be, or somebody has to be, right? So are they involved in their community? Who do they know? Do they have some place where they volunteer? Because where they volunteer, those are people that could be your customers. So again, the next thing is defining the job. What are the job components? Now, this is what I think. This is how I used to do it. So who in your company does the job best? And let's say you're hiring a salesperson. Who is your number one salesperson? What makes them number one? Watch them on the sales floor. Follow them around. Have them outline the job as they see it. If they try to close the sale, how many times do they do that? I bet you it's not one. It's been said that it's over 5 times. Are they able to do that? So you want to watch what makes them spectacular so that the next person that you get is like that person. So think about that. That is what the job's supposed to look like. That's the person who is exactly the right person in your business. So where are you going to look for candidates? The first thing I always say is hire from within. I know what you're saying. You're saying, no, I can't hire the warehouse person. That's a stinky job. And that I just fill that job and then they leave. Listen, the warehouse person knows your business, is honest, knows how to deal with customers, can be trusted to count what comes off that truck and to check it and to make sure you got what you ordered. I'm going to tell you the story about a young man that I know that came to work for somebody I knew. Now, I told the person that he was going to work for. He came down here for a specific purpose. He left his job. He had an issue. Actually, that's the wrong word. He wanted to be with his girlfriend, and so he came down to be with her. But let me tell you the experience he had. His parents were in the flooring business. He knew the flooring business. He worked as a manager for a big store, which wasn't flooring. He did it for 3 years and got plenty of honors. And here's what he said when he joined up. I would love to learn how to sell. I want to be on the sales floor. Now, the only job they had open was in the warehouse. So he took the warehouse job. But I told him again and again, you need to train him. Well, it was supposed to be on a Saturday, and then nobody wanted to be around to help him. He never got the opportunity. And I'm telling you, he would be a good salesperson. He knew what to do. So you know what he did? After 2.5 years, he quit. And they were like, oh my gosh, he quit. I can't believe it. They didn't have anybody. They didn't have anybody to get his place, to take his place. Well, he told them what he needed. And I think when you hire somebody, you've got to ask that question. What is it that you need to keep this job? I want to know because I want you to stay here. I don't want to hire you and have you leave. So tell me what and I call them this, your conditions of satisfaction. What are your conditions of satisfaction for holding a job? And let's see if we can meet them. If you're a good fit, I want to make sure you get what you need. Okay. So that's something for you to think about. How about, again, let's go back to the student intern. Have them work with all your departments. Have them go out. Have them be with the installers. And I don't mean watching install. I mean going out and being on the back end, carrying a roll of carpet, carrying in ceramic tile, putting stuff on the floor and learning how to cut. Yes, working, because then they have a real appreciation for the most important people in your business. And those are the people that do the installation. Okay. Now, I always say, check out people at your pit stops. You know your pit stops. Where do you get your coffee in the morning? Where do you get a sandwich? Where are those places that you stop in? Do you go to the bank? What about the bank? Maybe the cleaners. You got a new pair of eyeglasses? How about the person, not the one who fit you, but somebody who just rang it up for you? Look, you want people that have a nice attitude, that are friendly, that are helpful. You know what it's like to get a really helpful person who says, listen, let me help you with this. I'm more than happy to. You know what that's like. Not somebody who ignores you. You come in, you're at the desk, and what do? They go the other way. I had that happen to me the other day. I wanted to say to her, where did you learn that? That's the worst behavior I ever saw. I'm a customer. I'm standing right here. Help me. Okay. Join online groups and listen to the conversations. Does anyone look interesting? You know, there are lots of groups out there, lots of floor covering. Go out there. Find out where people are from. See if there is anybody from your neck of the woods. Listen to them. Ask questions. See if you can find somebody. Should you steal them from somebody else? Maybe you should. The thing is, when you steal somebody, I call it steal somebody because it really is. You want to see how they act. What do they say about the store they worked at? What do they say about the owner? Listen, if what they do is gossip, you don't need them, because they're going to gossip while they're working for you. And after they leave you, forget it. So you may not want them. Okay, let's talk about interviewing. Effective interviewing. One is be organized. We've already been through this. Make sure you know what the job is. Make sure you know the specifics of the job. Remember, you're looking for attitude. You are looking for people who are inquisitive. You are looking for people who can do things on their own. So how about a walk through the store? Take them through your store. Introduce them. Now, I have a friend, I love Rowland Thompson, who hires installers. And he said he takes them out to lunch. If he's gotten that far with them, he wants to see how they are. What do they like with the server? Do they have manners? Do they know how to tip? Do they pay attention? These are really interesting skills. And I believe that what he's saying is really, really important. Now, while you're interviewing, please, no phone calls, no texts, no nothing. Because if you don't show the candidate respect and paying attention, what do you think they're going to be like? They're going to be on the sales floor. They're going to take phone calls. They're going to do texts until you catch them. So how about you not do that? As you walk into the store, are they friendly? Are they nice? Do they smile when they meet somebody? Do they put their hand out? What are they like? Now, ask them if they remember who they met after you're done. Do they remember anybody's name? Do they know what anybody does? It doesn't really matter very much. But what you want to do is to see if they really are inquisitive, because you will find somebody who said, okay, I met Mark. Mark was one of the installers. He was walking through. I met Charlie, who runs the warehouse. I met Alice, who happens to be the bookkeeper. And I met your daughter. She came through. This is somebody who is really paying attention. And you know what? It's hard to remember those kind of things. I have a friend. She remembers telephone numbers. She remembers everybody's phone. From 20 years ago, whenever I need a phone, I just call Margot. Margot, what's your phone number? She remembers it. So these are skills. remembering people's names, their phone numbers, and who they are. So again, do an interview with other team members. See how this person acts. Are they comfortable with new people? Do they know how to break the ice? Are they really friendly? Again, are they inquisitive? Do they pay attention? And you know this one, where do we screw up the most? That one question. A couple things. One is really defining the job. We don't define the job very well. So we hire somebody who doesn't know what the job is, and they come in and they're mediocre when they really shouldn't be if we describe the job so they really, really get it. All right? Okay. And the last is ask them about their perfect job. What would that perfect job be if we had it for you? What would you really, really want? You see, you need to know these days, everybody wants something different, and everybody is searching for something. Not like when I grew up, you were happy to have a job and you were excited that somebody hired you. Now we have people that aren't so excited. Maybe they'll go out and open their own business. Maybe what they're going to do is sell plants in the summer and that's enough for them. I don't know. But what you want to know is what is the perfect job for them? And then see whether or not you can put that together for them. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see, what do? Do I leave the studio?